were telling me about Hitler's journey to Liverpool.
Oh yes, yes. Hitler had an older sister who had a flat in Liverpool, and in 1934 he travelled to Liverpool and lived with her in her flat for 4 months. Now, it's ridiculous when you've lived through the war, isn't it, when you think of this. But he was walking the streets of Liverpool. Liverpool has always had beautiful architecture. It only had one cathedral then, and we've got 2 now, but beautiful architecture. Hitler, we are told, was an artist. Now, artists appreciate fine architecture. But as I say, he walked all the streets of Liverpool, went back to Germany, sent every blasted plane he had to bomb Liverpool flat.
So why is this not known that he was in Liverpool? You're the first person to ever tell me this.
Am I don't know. I mean, obviously I'm a writer, and I think writers do discover more, you know, whether it's to do with history or politics or anything else.
So are you suggesting he bombed Liverpool because he didn't enjoy his time here in 1934? The Baedeker bombings?
Must be some reason he chose Liverpool, where his older sister, as I say, had a flat. You know, I don't know anything about his older sister. I've never known anything about her character, you know, or what job she did. Or
I wasn't aware he had a sister.
Apparently so. An older sister. And my father didn't want me to grow up hating all Germans. You know, I'd lived through the war. Sat me down one day, brilliant man, and he said, Leslie, you mustn't grow up hating all Germans. Not all of them are bad people. He said the finest general in any army in the world is German. His name is Erwin Rommel. Now listen carefully, and you'll never forget this.
Did Rommel come to Liverpool?
Oh, wait till you hear what happened to him when he came to Liverpool.
Who, Rommel?
Rommel was married back in Germany with a wife and 3 small children. He came over to Liverpool because it was in Liverpool, you know, and must have called for him for some reason, you know, wanted some conversation with him. And Hitler passed him a mug of liquid to drink, and it was poison.
In 1934?
Rommel, well, that was when Hitler came here. I mean, it might have been, you know, a year or something later, because he was here for some years in Liverpool. But Rommel, as I say, fancy doing that to a man who was married with a wife and 3 small children, and deliberately, you know, enjoying the spectacle of the man holding his belly, groaning and crying and dying on your own rug.
And that was in Liverpool?
That was in Liverpool.
Rommel died in Liverpool?
Yes.
When?
Oh God, I don't know. I was, you know, born in 39. I was only a tiny kid when the war was still on.
Because you said Hitler was in Liverpool for a number of years, so 1934 until...
No, 39 is when the war began, you know, sort of, and he was staying, you know, moved in with his sister, and then he must have been there for several years. I should think he probably marched it up to about 10, I don't know.
That would put him in Liverpool during the World War II until 1944.
Yeah.
So Hitler and Rommel were in Liverpool and Churchill didn't know?
What Churchill knew. I mean, he was down in London, you know.
Well, you're right, never come up north there.
We never had the same, don't think we had the same radio Watsons, right, you know, as we do now.
Well, that's a great story. Could we finish by telling people where we are now? Where are we talking? Where are we now?
What, this village?
Yeah.
Port Sunlight.
Which is where?
Well, this is it.
I imagine I'm from Australia, so where's Port Sunlight?
Well, the village is called Port Sunlight. More than that, I do not know. I know that higher down in Ellesmere Port, there's a huge factory where my father worked all through the war. He was a maintenance supervisor for Shellmex, and Shellmex was making all the petrol for our tanks and our jeeps during the war, you see. So he went to work at 6 o'clock every morning, came back at 10 o'clock every night. I don't know how my mum lived through it. I didn't know he was my father for several years, because I was always in bed when he came back and in bed when he left, you know.
Right, so to finish off, that building down the end, madam, what's that building down there?
Oh, that's an art gallery.
Which one?
Oh Lord, I'm just trying to read it on the
Well, not to worry.
probably just thought, or either just Sunlight, you know, museum.
Okay. So if we could summarise then, to finish, Hitler was in Liverpool in 1934 for 10 years. Rommel came to visit and he poisoned Rommel in Liverpool.
For 10 years.
Right.
He was there staying with his older sister for, you know, sort of only several months.
Because I read Ian Kershaw's biography of Hitler,
Oh, right.
and I don't
Yes.
believe he had a
Is that
sister. I don't remember a sister.
Oh, really? Well, I read about that years ago. So perhaps she died, you know, and then...
I know he had a cousin, and she committed suicide. And there was rumours there was something a bit naughty happening.
Oh, right. Oh,
All right
I've
then.
never heard of that one. That's...
Right.
But this is what breaks my heart, because, as I say, I'd always assumed, because the Liverpools have been childhood sweethearts, he adored. I'd always thought all my life it must have been unveiled by Lady Liverpool. But now, with computers, you can discover any facts.
Yeah. Okay.
To do with Lady Liverpool, this war.
We're going to have to stop now because there's too much traffic noise from these cars. Look, I don't think we'll be able to hear you. So thank you so much.
But my dad said, you know,